everyone, welcome in Devin and Beer Bear. Attempting to sort. I have a feeling half of what I sorted I don't actually have bins for, but it's easier to just sort them and figure that out later than play the guessing game of do I, don't I, while I'm trying to sort. So I just sort everything I run across, and then as I'm trying to find the bins, I decide, or I figure out if I have a spot for it or not. Welcome in, Crazy. I can see where we are on Stream Raiders. Okay, I need 7 assists and paladins. Last time we did really well. We had a ton of people right from the get-go. I don't know if that's gonna happen this time or not, but we will. I'm doing good. No, that's warrior. I changed their skins, and then I can't remember where the what the creature looks like, or soldier warrior, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember what it looks like because I change the skins all the time. Speaking of that, I think I got new skins last time and I didn't check them out. Oh, I did because I only had 4 pages last time. I'm cooking me some frozen pizza is the best. It's like a comfort food. I don't care what anybody says. It may not taste the best, but at the same time it does. I know that doesn't make sense, but but yes, I may not have half the buckets for these things I'm sorting out, but it's easier to figure that out after than try to guess while I'm sorting if I have this piece, if I don't have this piece. Like a place for that piece. It's fairly easy to just sweep it all back in the bucket. Well, I mean, we don't have a literal city. The two bottom shelves over here are meant to be modulars, but I still need to get the museum, and there's one other one I've been keeping my eye on Amazon, seeing if it'll come within a reasonable price. But it's retired, so you gotta pay what somebody wants. But I keep my eye out for a lot of the retired modulars, because they come up on Amazon, but not always anywhere near reasonably priced. Because I did not start doing Lego when some of them came out, and retired. Let's see. A lily pup. But I will go shopping again this week, and so I will look for more buckets. But sorting them out like this, even when I'm pretty sure I don't have buckets for all of them, also helps me figure out how many more like little bucket things I need and like what sizes I need. it serves a purpose. Even if it only marginally makes sense. But I have been sorting more out of this bucket. It's definitely not as full as it was before. And I took you out. Oh, you've rolled into the guns. I think that's a bead, not a Lego. I am wall mounting all my techniques up. So I plan for Mother's Day. It, of course, can't be even early access ordered till Wednesday, till tomorrow. The Galaxy set, and that's going to be my Mother's Day. But they're coming out with a Mona Lisa, and I have Starry Night. So I need to figure out how to, they have spaces on the back where you can just wall mount them. But I want to get like a floating shelf to put underneath, so in case it's not fully just resting on the hooks, you know what I mean? It's got some support underneath too. So I want to get different floating shelves to go underneath them, so I feel more secure, like they're not just gonna fall off the wall and break apart into a bazillion pieces in the middle of the night. I have seen on Pinterest and just in videos some really cool ways to wall mount things. There's a guy who wall mounts all his speed cars. So he's developed this little plate system, and then he hooks the car on it and it hangs, and then puts the little minifigure next to it. It's pretty cool. Not a wrench. And not one of the little pieces I call a wrench. A literal wrench. I guess let's put that with the gun in the same bucket as well. Most of my wall space is covered up by these shelves because this stuff is way bigger, and I don't think it would be shelving hanging on the wall. It would be a lot of shelving. So it's easier just by standing shelves. But one is not better than the other. Whatever works for your space and whatever type of Legos you have. Oh, I know I have one of those out. I don't remember where I put it though. But yes, I've seen some pretty cool wall mounted stuff. It's definitely interesting to see all the different ways people come up with to display their Legos. Just put your little swirly uniform here. There, you rolled into it. Got all this dog hair on my desk now, and we haven't had a dog in a year and a half. But it is in the Lego bucket, so as I sort, it comes out. Even when I try not to pick it up. I have one of the Lego pirate chips in my fish tank. Ooh, how does it stand up over time? Hold up over time. I mean, in theory, water is not going to hurt the bricks, but I do wonder how it really like stands up over time, like as far as like the algae and stuff, you know, from a fish tank that just happens like growing on it. And then I forgot what I was looking for. I think I had one of two. Maybe not. Maybe it was something similar, but not that. Like every few months I gotta put it back together, but in the end it stands up. That's cool. Yeah, I just wondered how like I said, like algae growing on it and things like that, how well that works, how well it stands up. I have my own system of not reducing allergy using a protein comer. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm not really a fish tank person, so I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, the kids have had, like, well, my oldest had fish, like, that you got at carnivals and stuff, but they never last very long. You just keep them in that little tank. So I don't know all the intricacies of like owning a fish tank and, you know, keeping it clean and whatnot. Okay, I thought I had some of those, but I guess I did not sort out any of those. Come on. There we go. No flat square. No quarter. No flat circle. Okay, roller skate. No plants. But we did have two of you. Okay, like stops algae from like getting all over. Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm not like up on all, you know, that you could do in a fish tank. Did I put these other plants in there too? No, just all the flame type, not those little pieces of it. I did that one of these. Nope, not that. It's these pieces. Did I put gears in here? I did. I am slowly, maybe, kinda remembering what I put where. Is this just forwards or is it tops too? Nope, those are just forwards. I know I sorted one of those. Nope. That one's got a sticker on it. Kitty Kitterson, stop scratching my couch. Book talk, okay. Trying to think. Yes, they both came out today. So 2 books I read both came out today. And they're kind of like the last full-length books I read, so I can talk about them now. One is called A Tormented Man, and it's part of the Appalachian... Oh, there's further down. Appalachian Star series. So the concept for the series is that it's like this farm, but not a farm of like you think they grow crops and have cows and animals and stuff. It used to be like a big church thing, and the church got in trouble, so then the land like reverted back to the state. They could sell it, and it takes place in Kentucky. And they were bought this land as a place. Okay, so the guys, they're part of like this rescue team, like search and rescue. And the guys that all work there have, like, the main head guy is prior military. And the other guys who work there have all been in jail, but not like, oh my god, we're trying to rehabilitate them after they got out of prison. All the guys that have gone to jail, they really all shouldn't have gone to jail, period. Like, there was like, one guy was falsely accused, and he just fit the profile, and they couldn't, like, his lawyer couldn't prove that he didn't do it because you don't keep track of yourself, you know what I mean? Like, if you're alone, you can't prove you didn't do it. And so he wound up going to prison, but it wasn't even him, and then later they proved it wasn't him, and he was released and exonerated. Another guy went to jail, and I guess he did kind of deserve to go to jail. His daughter was attacked and killed, and so he went and found the man who killed his daughter and killed him. I really can't say I blame him for that one. But like kind of stories like that. And so the guy in this book, his nickname is Patty, but his name is Dennis. He went to jail. Him and his friend owned like a rock climbing thing together, and they would go out like every day and rock climb. And his friend would check his equipment, and he would check his friend's equipment, and they would both sign the forms that the equipment had been checked. Well, one day they were climbing, and his friend just broke, and he fell, and he died. And they could not find the paperwork anywhere that said, you know, that the safety checks had been completed. And it was weird because the family of his friend wasn't pushing for him to go to jail or serve any time. But I guess because it was a business, OSHA got involved, and because they couldn't prove that the safety checks had been done, OSHA pushed for him to get jail time. And so he wound up serving like 9 years and then getting out. And because they can't find the paperwork, you know, they can't prove he didn't do it. So it still stands as if he unintentionally killed his friend by not doing the proper safety checks, which isn't true. But he's been out for a bit, but it's hard, like, you know, moving on from that. Like, he feels guilty, like his friend died and it's his fault. Even if it's not literally his fault, he didn't, you know, do anything wrong, it still feels that way. So it's kind of, this book is kind of set up in the last book. They talk about how he likes certain things in the bedroom. Like, he likes to be in control in the bedroom. Not necessarily like, I want to tie you up and flog you, but like, he just likes to be in control. And so he's talking to some of the people that they know, and the guy's like, I have the perfect girl for you. let me talk to her and I'll see if she wants your number. So keep in mind that he is an ex-con, right? The perfect match for him, she's a federal judge in Kentucky. But because it was a non-sex offender crime, no sexual, no minors, it was a minor crime kind of thing. It wouldn't affect her, like she couldn't not date him because of it. And she, because she has to be in charge all the time, prefers to not be in control of the bedroom, to let somebody else take over that part. So it kind of works out. So they're introduced to each other, and yes, I know, Kitty, get in the bucket with all the paper. They're introduced to each other, and they hit it off pretty well. Because it's not like he wants somebody to be submissive all the time. He just wants to be in control in the bedroom. And that doesn't, like I said, it doesn't mean like anything overtly kinky or anything. Just he's in charge. And she still has the option to say, no, I don't want to do that, or I don't like that. It's nothing, where she has to do everything he says. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. It's bag 15. I'm on bag 18, so let's drag it down a bit. Oh, I don't know where this is. Ooh, there's bag 18. Good. So, and because part of their thing when they agree, to be part of this team is that they agree to basically live there on the ground all the time. They're not in a prison camp or anything. They can come and go as they please. But you are part of an on-call rescue team. So that means you can't just decide, oh, I'm going to sleep at my girlfriend's house tonight. Like, you have to give them warning because that makes them a man down, right? And if they get called out, that matters. So she wants him to sleep at her house, and he's trying to explain it to her that he can't. And part of her is just like, oh, you're still in prison. Like she's not really listening to what he's saying. She has a little bit of preconceived notion about him and what he's doing and things like that. And so he's like, listen, I like you and I'd like to see where this goes, but I won't be treated, disrespectfully. Like, you don't get to make demands of me, just like I don't get to make demands of you. Like, I can't expect you to be able to just take off in the middle of the week. You're a judge. You have cases you have to see. You have a docket. I don't expect you to just be like, nope, call into work. So you can't expect me to just call into work, I have a team, and when I got out of prison, he felt like he didn't have anything, And they gave him this, like, second lease on life, and they're a family to him. They all feel that way, that they're family, And so there's a little bit of a spat, but she calls him later after he goes home, and he's like, I was trying to explain to you that you can come here and sleep here, like, and drive in just as easy as I can, sleep at your place and drive back out here. Move aside, castle. Okay. We did this piece last time, so now, set it aside. Work on a different piece. So that's like their first little spat, and really it was more of like a misunderstanding. That she just didn't understand what he was saying. That's it. Oh, it helps if I'm in frame. That's it. Just that little one. Ads start in about a minute, a little less than a minute. So, they get over that little spat, and because everybody at the place is like a family to him, and he's like, till we know that this is more than just having a good time, let's keep it to ourselves. I have my own cottage, it's not like we sleep in barracks or bunkhouse or anything like that. So why don't you come out, but you stay, like, I'll go to the main house and get food and stuff, or we can cook in my cabin, but like, I'm not going to introduce you to everybody until I'm sure this is going to go somewhere. We got to rotate. And so, she does that. And the book moves at a pretty good clip too. Like, I would almost classify this as like an insta-love type book where like immediately they know they're going to be forever, or rather very quickly. And so, it's moving along, and he recently got a scholarship thing to go back to school to become an EMT. Oh, where did you go? Oh, good. Not too far. And so he's going to be going into town like 3 nights a week for these classes. And he tells her, we can have dinner after the class and then I can drive home. And when he talks to the head person, the guy's like, well, why don't we do this? Like, on the nights you have class, you can end work a little bit early and then, shower and head in, go to your class, and then you can sleep over at her house. That way you can be refreshed and not trying to drive home at like 10, 11 o'clock on these back roads. And so that kind of works out for everybody. Welcome in, Carrot. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Alex. It moved too fast. I gotta get my mouse. Welcome in, Alex and Rabbit. I think I got everybody. My brain cannot compute today. And Ghosty, welcome in, everyone. We are on. This will be the last stream of building this, stream 5. I'm sure we're all ready to see something else. What is this cat after? She is excellent at getting into things that she doesn't need to get into. I have to hide the pencils because she will steal my pencil and then run off with it. Welcome in, Kevin. Thank you for the lurk. And I put those on there wrong. Yeah, she will take the pencil and run, and then she's got a pile of paper that she loves to play in. So she will hide it in the pile of paper. So every once in a while, I've got to move the paper around and see what she's hidden in the paper. Crazy cat. So yeah, so they agree they're going to do that. And then she has she worked in somewhere else, and she's recently moved to the area when they needed a new judge in that area. And so, sorry, weird honking outside my house. And so, she's trying her first big case since moving to this new area. And it's the first day when she's arraigning, doing the bail hearing and whatnot. She sets it really high at $2 million. And then the guy's the guy's attorney's like, my client is not a flight risk. Yeah, phone being silly again. Twitch on the app is funny. Like, it doesn't want to work half the time. And it won't let you do all the same things that it will at the computer. I've got to like delegate like how much space for you guys to see me building and then connecting. And so the guy's like arguing that he's not a flight risk and a bunch of stuff, and she's like, oh, you definitely are. I set the bail that high because of who you're connected to and blah blah blah. Hydrate. And she asked, you know, like the state, do you have any objection to this? And they're like, actually, we'd prefer no bail. And she's like, you know what? That sounds like a plan. No bail. You're remanded. And then like they start going crazy, and she's like, no, listen, you have a laundry list of charges against you right now. Ooh, 8 units. This could be bad. Hopefully somebody put out a necromancer. Let's put the curse on these froggies. Oh, I didn't even pay attention to how many of them there were to begin with. Oops. Ooh, I got an assist. Oh, apparently 3 kills as well. It's just you, Bear. It's just you. Right? And she notices some like funky guys sitting in the back of the courtroom. That's alright. I didn't think we would. It's the first. Continue. Why would I quit after one failure? People gotta know you're on. Place down battle plan with 5 battles. Okay. I'll do a necromancer this time. Gotta find it. There it is. Over here to give us some time, you know. There you go, guys. So she's, you know, wondering about like those guys sitting in the back, and she's gonna have a talk with her bailiffs when she gets a chance, you know. And so the next guy comes in, and he's got like the same charges as the first guy. And she's like, oh, I can see why you're here today, just like your friend. We're gonna make this easy. Since you have the same charges, you get the same thing. No bail. And the lawyer again is the same, and he's like, but, and she's like, nope. Like, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And so then it's time for like a recess in between. And she talks to her bailiffs, and she's like, there's a camera in the courtroom pointing right at the back. Use it, contact the local sheriff, and have him run those faces. I want to know who they are and why they were in the back of my courtroom. She's like, I don't have a good feeling about it. And they're like, neither do we. We'll run them. And then so she goes on and she does some other cases. And comes out, they're like high up cartel guys. You know, they need their people out so they can get back to doing their stuff. And so they don't waste time threatening her at the end of the day when she's walking to her car. They're like, you know, we need to get back to doing our work, and you you could help us do that by letting our friends go, and it would be a shame if something happened to you because you didn't, threatening her but not really threatening her. And her people are like, you need to call the FBI and have them like send protection for you. And of course, she doesn't think it's going to be that bad. Nobody's going to come after her, which is like so stupid because they're going to. So she they go about her day, and she goes home. She changes, she meets with Dennis, and she doesn't tell him like really what the case is about. But as it goes, it's like a day or so later, she gets a knock on the door, and when she looks at the peephole, there's nobody there. And when she looks down, so she opens the door and she looks down, and there's a note there's a package there, but it doesn't have, like, somebody clearly hand delivered it, and she was like, oh hell no. So she immediately calls 911. So at least that part is smart. She calls 911 and she tells them who she is and what just happened, and they're like, okay, stay on the phone with us and we will get somebody there right now. And there just happens to be a guy like patrolling near her. It's not a very big town, so that's not all that surprising. Plus the sheriffs, said we're gonna do more drive-bys near her area, keep trouble, noticeable trouble. And so he's there really fast, and she opens the door and he's like, nope, go back inside, go to your back door, I'll come around the back. And so they get the bomb squad and everything there. And there's no bomb in it. There's just a normal, like, old-fashioned alarm clock, with, like, the 2 bells at the top. And a picture of her, and then it says, like, time is running out, or time is ticking, something like that. And so, it's a threat. They want her to let their people go. So Dennis was out on a rescue, and they call into the rescue, and everybody's like, ooh, you in trouble? The sheriff wants to talk with you. What'd you do? And he's like, I didn't do anything. And why are you guys acting like we're back in middle school? And when they land, because they were up in a helicopter rescuing somebody. Oh, poopsicles. It didn't go far. Note to self, don't press so hard. The sheriff gets him on the phone, and he's like, you're dating Natalie, right? The judge? And he's like, yes. And he's like, you need to get to her house now. And he's like, why? And he's like, just do it. And so, of course, now he's worried about her. And he goes to rush off, and the one guy's like, stop. I'll come with you. Don't. You're not going to be any good to her if you pancake on the side of the road. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Okay. This is a bunch of tiny pieces. And did I miss something? I did. I see your brick tags. This. Then this. Then these. Protects. I need 2 of these. Boop. That's the brick tax. Just boop. Okay, no, we didn't rotate. But I feel like I did put something. Oh, okay. I see what I did. They just wanted that there. And then they want this here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let me see if I can. It's not heavy, just it's hard to, pick it up. Like, get your hands underneath of it. So he gets there, and he's like, that's it. What's going, then, of course, she has to tell him what happened. And he's like, why didn't you call? And she's like, because I don't need, I didn't think I needed the protection like that. I thought, and he's like, no, you're getting, all the protection we can get you. So, they know people being in search and rescue and whatnot. They know loads of cops and stuff like that. And plus, there's, a benefactor to the farm. And so they call them. And, the guy owns a friend of theirs owns a private security firm. So, and the guy who owns the private security firm is also her friend. I completed as much as I could of Standard 3 and 4, and then completed Standard 4.4, and now doing Standard 4.6. It does sound like fun times. Sounds like the math I did yesterday. I didn't understand. Well, I did understand it, but I was like, I've never seen math like this before. The way they did it. It was just area of a circle, area of a rectangle, area of a triangle. But the way they were putting it together was super weird. I feel like it's taking me forever to tell you guys about this book. I don't know why. We are non-compliant on full. Ooh, bad boys. Gotta get compliant. So, like a little steeple part. This way. Right here. Let me see if I can't. Okay, don't pinch finger. I don't know if that's better or not. Does that seem closer, not quite as far away? Or did it not really change anything? I'm trying to get it closer without, but I don't know. Not our fault though, waiting on 2 outside agencies. Oh, well, yeah, if you gotta wait on other people, it's not quite the same. You can't control when they send it to you. You can send them 1,000 angry emails. It doesn't mean that they're gonna care or get it to you any faster. I was trying to get closer, but I don't know if I really did get closer. A little more. I'm trying to get closer, but not so close that you can't then. Well, I can always pull it back out, but there's a little bit closer of what we're kind of working on right here. But again, I'm gonna push it to the side because I gotta work on a bunch of pieces that you then add to it. So. But yes, so the FBI gets involved because the sheriff's like, nope, I gave you a chance to call and you didn't, now I'm gonna call. So the FBI is sending people, and then the guy that they know who owns a private investigator firm, he's gonna send people, especially because she's his friend. But she's like, no, I didn't want to trouble anybody, but girl, they will murder you and not feel sorry about it. So you need protection. And then they're like, they won't hesitate to go after Patty either because they know that you're close to him. It would be a way to get to you. So he needs protection too. And then, so she stays that first night, at his place. And then, well, I guess it's before that incident happens because the FBI isn't there. But either way, at some point she is there with him, and she goes to like their main dining hall. Hi, Lambus Bread. How are you? I need to remember to add you to my auto shout out because I'm lazy with the shout outs. I just put them in the thing and then let it do its business. This is my final session, I guess you'd want to call it. Stream, whatever. Working on the Hogwarts Castle and Grounds. Thank you, Crazy. Like I said, I'm lazy with the shout outs. And then this piece is gonna go here. Oh, but don't squish it too hard, because then you break it. Yeah, I tried to zoom in more so you guys could see, since it's such little pieces. So, like, my camera is like zoomed in as far as it goes, but I like tried to move it down some more so it wasn't so high up. So you could like try to see more detail, because there's a lot of detail. Why do you look funny? But yeah, there's lots of detail with the tiny pieces. But I like it because I like all the detail. It's amazing what they can accomplish with, tiny bricks. You'd be like, oh, you can't get much, because, oh, I just broke my nail. Oh, well. That figures. You'd think, oh, you can't get much detail because it's so tiny. But in actuality, I feel like sometimes they get more detail because of how tiny. It says, no matter what a Hogwarts student's favorite subjects are, they will likely spend a great deal of their time in the East Wing, where many of the classrooms are located. So I guess that's what we just worked on, was like the East Wing. If I moved it. So I guess this is the East Wing, and this is like the Great Hall, and then their dorms, and the like middle spiral staircase, and then you have the bridge, and then this is like the boathouse and where the boats come in, where the first years come on the boat. If I'm thinking correctly. I could be so wrong. It gives you little tidbits as you build it, but it's been a minute and my brain has forgotten. Sorry, now I'm gonna pick at my nail all stream. It looks like we're moving on to what is maybe looks like a tower. Yes, anyway, so I guess it was before she gets the thing, because it would make sense, because that's part of the problem with her like staying out there. So she learns that the case she's presiding over, they shot down a Kentucky State police helicopter and killed one of the pilots and gravely injured the other. Well, the girl that was gravely injured, she is dating the one guy that's in the rescue squad with Dennis. And she lives out there with her boyfriend. Well, fiance, I think they're engaged at this point. Some of the books like overlap, so then you gotta remember. But when she realizes it, she's like, oh my god, I can't be here. I can't be seen to be having like any improprieties. It could really mess up the case. Da 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 da. And so they all agree, and the FBI knows it. And they all agree that as long as she stays like in Dennis's um, cottage, or only goes into the other places when Izzy and Ghost are gone, then it's okay, you know, because she's not talking to them at all. She can't be biased or whatever. This whole game is rigged. It is rigged. Pokemon is most definitely rigged. So, you know, they have her there, you know, under surveillance. So, like, he's got a team on him when he goes to class and things like that. And she has a team on her when she goes to work, anywhere she goes, you know, work, the doctor, whatever. Except, of course, she still manages to get kidnapped. Because, of course. Uh-huh. I have questions about the thing sometimes. It does not always seem to, like... And I don't know if anybody else knows this, but you can tell if you got the Pokemon long before it tells you. Like, pretty much as soon as you throw the ball, you can know whether you got it or not. You can go into your Pokédex and refresh it, and the Pokemon will be there before it says who caught it. There we go. Yeah. I've done it a couple times, not like intentionally, but like I've been trying to buy like Pokeballs or whatever, or like trade out with the Wonder Trade, like checking if how much time was left, or just doing the Wonder Trade, and the Pokemon's just been sitting there at the top. And I'm like, well, it hasn't even been decided yet. But you can tell almost like instantly. Right, so she already had a doctor's appointment, right? Like, she can't just stop living her life because these guys are after her. So she already had a doctor's appointment on the books. So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, you know, you need to go get blood work done and schedule, a mammogram, whatever. And so they come out of the doctor's office, and she's like, it's really the first time I've ever been to this doctor. I need to, like, find the map. You know, the hospital map tells you where to go. And so she's like, oh, there's one down there. And so they walk down the hall, and she's like, why would they put the, like, direct, like, the map thing just outside of this versus just outside the elevator where we were? And then, of course, somebody grabs them from the stairwell right by where they're standing, and they get kidnapped. Right, because that's how that goes. Must get kidnapped. So your boyfriend who works for search and rescue can find you, hopefully before you're dead. And she got kidnapped with her like main bodyguard, so. Who had a sleepover with one of the other guys at the farm. So they're like, ooh, what's going on between you and Bear? Right, but both Bear and her are like, none of your business. Anyway, so they get kidnapped and they're thrown in a trunk, of course, you know. And the bodyguard girl, she gets the tape off her mouth, and she's like, okay, I got the tape off, and she gets her tape off the judge's mouth, who's named Natalie. And she's like, okay, roll over so I can get your hands, and so I can untie you, and then you can untie me, you know, kind of all around, you know. Did I catch it? I did. 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be 10. Oh, right there. So she's like, this is what we're gonna do when we get to where they're gonna stop, because they are gonna stop. We're gonna have the tape back over our mouth and have your hands behind you like they're still tied, but obviously they're not, right? And as soon as that trunk opens, we're gonna spring into action. And they do. And they, you know, she wants the judge to just run, but she's like, no, I'm not gonna just, you know. I mean, she does run, but they run, but they don't really know where they are, you know, like in the area and things like that. So they run, and then they get to like through a clearing, but they like almost run right literally off the edge of a cliff. And so then they move back, and then she's like, when they come running through, you need to, they're gonna fight, right? Like, we have no choice. You need to turn them so that they are like with their backs to the cliff, and when they eventually fall over, they'll land, and then you can land on top of them. Like, it's not a perfect plan, but like, we don't really have other options. And so that's what they do. And then, you know, lights out, because it's not a short fall. And you land on somebody else, it's still gonna, you know, be a doozy. And so then it goes like, she thinks you know, she's concussed, obviously. Like, you don't need me to tell you that. You can imagine what a fall like that is. She's almost guaranteed concussed. But she thinks she hears somebody say, it's gonna be alright, Natalie. He's gonna find you. Oh, that's not the piece I meant to grab. And so she's like, what? But then she blacks out again, you know? So it goes then back to Dennis, and they're like he's like, what do you mean she was kidnapped? She had like how many bodyguards with her? You guys let her get kidnapped. He's not happy. And honestly, nobody would be. And so they're like, we have to find her. So they get a helicopter up in the air. They GPS, you know, to figure out where her phone last was, things like that. And they get an idea about where they might possibly be. So then the helicopter goes up to see what they can see. And they find the car, because they can see the car like on the hospital security footage. But, you know, you can only do so much with that. Like I said, it's a small town. It doesn't have a light on every corner or stuff like that. Or a camera like on every corner. So they know what the car looks like. And then so they're like, okay, now from here we can kind of get an idea about where they might have run, you know, or taken the girls. And using heat sink and all that, you know. So they find them like with thermal imaging and stuff at the bottom of this ravine type deal. So then they get a team, because there's 2 helicopters up there. They get a team to go down. And the girls are taken to the hospital. The guys are dead because, you know, they use them as cushioning. Of course, at this rate, the cartel guys are like, we've brought more heat to ourselves, not less. Maybe let's not try that again. And plus, the guys that are in jail are like, well, shit. They were supposed to help get us out. They ain't gonna touch us with a 10-foot pole now. So, of course, they're like, we'll tell you everything if you give us a better sentence. This is right. It says, you might think the main tower would be the tallest point of Hogwarts Castle, but it is actually the astronomy tower. So that's what this is. I think it's the astronomy tower. And then this is a different tower. It's only marginally taller. But yeah, happy ever after. Bad guys die, good guys win. I didn't realize these last couple bags were like so small. Like not a lot in them. Oops. How has everybody's week been so far? Hopefully well. Hopefully not too crazy. Work not being too taxing. We have about 10 seconds left on Stream Raiders. Let's see. Stream Raiders. There's 14 of us this time. Okay, what's this do? Boosts ally speed. Buffs ranged attacks. Buffs damage. Buffs defense. So what do we got here? I guess we'll do the killing field, but we'll put it like out here. There's 19 of them and 14 of us. So a little less of them, a little more of us this round. We'll see how it goes. These are some big ugly frogs, let me tell you. I feel like this isn't going well. I put a necromancer out. Yeah, this is not going well. Let's see. Oh, they have. Roll over. we'll put a bomber out this time. They're pretty good. Where are you, Mr. Bomber? Let's try over here. Didn't look at my quest. That's okay. Winner, chicken dinner. 20 campaigns. Or 20 battles, whatever. Well, it's there if you wish to participate. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay, we are on bag 20. We have this bag and 2 more bags. But these bags are going by rather quickly. They don't have very many pieces in each bag. I am liking all the printed blocks. No tiny stickers. Fantasy had received a thing in the mail that said, you know, her school was having freshman award ceremony. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna take forever because there's like 700 kids, 900 kids in her school. We got there and I was like, well, that's not enough chairs for that many kids. So let's see. Apparently they only sent out those invites to kids who had gotten an award. This way, you know, your kids didn't get anything, you're not sitting there. And so she won an academic award for math. It was like for kids who show leadership in that subject or whatever. When they said it, Crazy was like, I'm pretty sure she's getting one in math because she tells all the kids in her math class to shut up. That's her shows leadership, because the teachers anymore, like, they might as well be talking to brick walls, right? Like, the kids don't care what the teachers say, so they're just asking questions, they're not listening, da 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 da, and she's like, shut up. And every time we have a parent-teacher conference or anything like that, the math teacher's like, I am so sorry that she even has to do that. Those kids, they don't listen to me, and their parents don't care. Like, I could call home, I could, you know, email, it wouldn't matter, the parents don't care. And she's like, shut up. And what's crazier is there's only like 8 kids in her math class, because she's in a special math class. Now I'm freaking myself out. These square ones that I put on here, they weren't accidentally printed blocks. I don't want to get 10 steps in and realize that the 2 blocks I put on in the beginning were printed blocks. So she got an award last night and she looked really irritated at the end. She's like coming up the steps to meet us and she's like, that was so boring. I'm hungry and I could have eaten already if I didn't have to sit here for 40 minutes so I could get 1 reward. Like, why couldn't they just hand this to me at school? You blame BB-8 for what? For us losing? What? I don't know. What do you blame BB-8 for? Oh, I see. I missed a comment up further. Oh boy, Florida deputies are in trouble. They shot an airman claiming self-defense only to release the body cam footage that shows them telling him to drop the gun after he was already dead. Oh, they're not very brilliant, are they? Like, you have to know you have a body cam on, at least make it work. Like, if he's bleeding out on the ground, it's hard to... Oh, the Lost in Stream Raiders. It's alright. I honestly, I was like, we don't win, we don't win. I put out my bomber guy this time though, so he's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna like say something, at least make sure that people can't prove you're lying pretty simply. BB-8's probably at like doing his homework stuff anyway. Okay. BB-8's probably working. He doesn't have time to pay attention to Stream Raiders. Yeah, I was like, I don't think he could be related to that, but let's see where that theory goes. Whoever is handling how drops are released was rude to me. It stopped giving me credit on my last drop Sunday after you raided, and only today you just started giving me credit again. I have trouble with that sometimes too. I'll have to bounce between, like, I'll have to go to the page where you can see everybody who's playing Stream Raiders, and I'll have to bounce between like 3 or 4 different streams before I can get it to like start giving me the drop. It's really annoying. Like, I'll get the little memo when I come into their stream that says, we're doing drops. But then the timer won't work. Like, it won't start the countdown. That's where we put that. And there's a little bridge there, too. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that. But I do know I have problems with it, too. Yeah, it's only Stream Raiders. Well, I take that back. I had a problem on Palia drops the one day. I couldn't get it to, like, it didn't matter whose stream I went into. And I, like, disconnected Palia and reconnected it, and it still wouldn't for some reason. I don't know. Maybe Palia decided that it had had enough of my complaining about it and was like, no, you don't deserve it. It's quite possible. And I would believe that because I curse Palia every time I play it. I was like, oh, I haven't played that for a while. I should play that. And then after 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I remember why I haven't played it. This area feels familiar, like the place I run around all the time in the Hogwarts Legacy game. This courtyard, I feel like. I could be totally wrong, too, but maybe it's this courtyard. I don't know. One of them I feel like I run around a lot in. And sometimes it'll give me, like, if I go into the drop section, it'll be like, hey, you're earning drops for this. And I was like, how? I don't even know what that is. And I don't eat Taco Bell. Why am I earning a drop for a Taco Bell box? Like, how does that work? I'd heard there were issues with Palydrops from one of the last ones, like something about people getting the wrong item when they logged in or something. Yeah, this was a while ago, but yeah, like, I've had issues before. I figure it's just more Twitch being twitchy, like, it is what it is. It's not like, half the time it's not like I'm actively watching the person. I'm just in their stream to collect the time on the drops. So, and I haven't paid for anything, so it's hard to complain. How dare you not give me the free stuff? sure I have this right before I press it. The Taco Bell ones and similar ones, I think, are tied to subs in a channel in some way. So if you're gifted a qualifying sub too, I think that is often. Okay, that would kind of make sense, I guess, because I'll log in, or I shouldn't say log in because I'm always logged in, but I'll like open up Twitch, and the memo will be like, you got a gifted sub to something, and then I'll randomly check my drops, and it'll be like, you're earning a Taco Bell box, and I'm like, huh? If you say so. I don't understand half of how it works, so I just roll with it. No, not a printed one. More printed one. Nope. Nope. How much longer does Chibi have school? My kids only have 2 weeks left. And personally, I think Boy Wonder is like really done. Like yesterday, he didn't have any assignments. We had a math one. I helped him with some math, and then today it was, I think he just had one music assignment. The other ones that were there, he had done already. Chibi is about the same. Her last day. Yeah, their last day is the 24th. And we might not even send Fantasy because it's not like they're really going to do anything the last day. And we planned on going camping that weekend, so we might not even send her on the last day. That way we can leave, like in the middle of the day. We don't have to wait till 3 o'clock. Or maybe I'll just go and get her out early. But it's not like they're going to be doing anything the last day. I'm surprised they can get them to do anything now. Is that right? I don't think this is. Yeah, a lot of Boy Wonder's work is like, it's like work recovery. Like his math teacher sent an email today that was like, the math grade book is going to look really weird for a minute because I'm, like she was going in and fixing all the grades and stuff, like updating it from like people who had caught up on a bunch of work. So, but he's still at 100%. Well, make sure she clears everything she might still have in the lockers or just. Okay, so her school is really weird. They don't have lockers. They have to carry everything with them every day. They don't bring home textbooks. It's like you don't get your own textbook. The textbook stays in the class, and like every class uses the same textbooks. Nobody gets their own. So she doesn't really have anything to like turn in like that. But I understand what you're saying, and they don't get desks either. It's just kind of, I don't know, her class is really weird. Okay, why do I feel like I did something wrong? But yet not. No, I didn't. It just feels like it. Ooh, what's for lunch? What about peanut? Nope, no, they don't get a gym locker. They don't change their clothes for gym. They don't have uniforms, nothing. Oh, I found it really weird too. I was like, how are you going to expect these kids to sweat like a mofo in gym class, but you're not going to give them a gym locker to change or anything? Okay. Something is not right. Oh, I see what's not right. I need to go over one more. Yeah, and she took a different gym class. Her gym class wasn't a gym class. So, normal gym class, they cycle through the different sports. Like you play volleyball and kickball and baseball and whatever. She took a gym class where it wasn't really a gym class. They called it like outdoor something. And instead, there was an archery unit. They learned to put up a tent. They learned first aid. She got her boater's card, her boater's ed card, and her hunter's ed card. Whatever my brother brings me. Well, hopefully it's good, Kevin. Did you know that when you walk into a room and forget why you're there, it's because you ran into an alien and they had to wear your memory, see? So they could erase your memory. That sounds like a Doctor Who thing, for sure. Okay, we love Doctor Who. I think the weird alien or the weird angels are my favorite. Like you turn your back and they get closer. Some alien fan page. Listen, I would believe it. I would totally believe that. Yes, the weeping angels. They're my favorite. They're like the most ruthless. But you can type. Did I spell it wrong? Who knows what I've changed it to as well. You're welcome. Oh, I did it, so you gotta do an exclamation point in front of it. Exterminate! I know the alien in Doctor Who that erases your memory because it showed during the 11th Doctor run around the ponds, but I can't remember the name of the alien either. But yeah, it's a Doctor Who thing. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, the Weeping Angels are my favorite. I might have to see about getting like a month's worth of BritBox just so I can watch all the Doctor Who's again. Because I think BritBox is the only way you can watch them right now. Yeah, it definitely did make them creepier. Hydrate and eat sugar. Okay, Kevin. You know what I found kind of weird? Like, cemeteries are like one of the best places to go Pokemon hunting. In Pokemon Go. So I watched up until the female doctor, and then they changed like where you could watch it. I want to say that we were watching them on Amazon Prime or something, and when they changed the doctor to the female doctor, they changed where you could watch it. And I now there's like 4 specials on Disney Plus with the doctor, and now they're running that season on there. But I missed a couple. That was it. We added another leg. I don't know, but I know graveyards are supposed to be really good places to find Pokemon. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at the same time, you're like, it kind of does make sense. Did you know that when you trade Pokemon in to like get a Pokemon candy, that I did that wrong. That you are that the professor, he just grinds them up, and that's how you get your Poke Candy. You're recycling Pokemon. Get off. In the shadowy corners of Chat City, a tale of woe and lost loot unfolds. Crazy Manituka laments a Stream Raider's defeat, while Rabbit of Moon speaks of dropped dilemmas and elusive Palia prizes. The streets buzz with Pokemon escapades and Doctor Who whispers. Aliens stealing memories like a thief in the night. As Kevin cheers for lunchtime, our own book loving Fiddler stands firm against the Dalek of confusion. Exterminate ignorance. Well, you probably walked into a ghost. Stole the memory right from you. Yeah. You keep the aliens. Keep up with the aliens. The silence. Okay. Well, then the alien walked into you, but either way, he's not giving you your memory back. Okay, really, you could have had me put that block on before. Large hands would have a problem with that placement. He just walked right in you, stole the memory, and was like, damn it. Like I said, it was like they had the episodes on like Amazon Prime or something, and I had the kids watch like all the Doctor Who's with me. So every once in a while, they'll run around going, "Exterminate! Exterminate!" I think the Daleks are like the most continuous, like ongoing. They're in a lot of episodes. They're like these machines that want to exterminate the human race, or like basically anybody who isn't them. Wasn't something we got into. We got in the middle of nowhere, and I never really tried to search it out. They mean on the Book of Face, ain't no cookie better than a Subway White Michael D. Oh, God. Listen, people. Just because it spell checks it into that does not mean that's correct. Listen, they were talking about the foot-long cookies and stuff in Carrot Stream. What was it, yesterday? I don't eat at Subway, so I don't know. I don't really eat at sandwich places like that because I can just make a sandwich myself at home. I don't need to go out to do that. The closest I get to really eating at places like that is Jersey Mike's. And that's still on the rarely. Ooh, we tried a new pizza place last night, and we were pleasantly surprised they had a pizza buffet. And they had people walking around. Like when a new pizza would come out of the oven, they would walk around with it to everybody at the tables and ask you if you wanted any. So Crazy didn't even have to get up to stuff himself full of pizza. Okay, so HBO Max has New Who from LSC's Doctor all the way to Whitaker's, and then it looks like Disney Plus puts after that. I knew it was like something. I thought maybe BritBox or something like that. So I may have to get like just a single month subscription of that just so I can watch Doctor Who, because I can watch it all in a month. Yeah. So he got his original plate had 3 pieces of pizza on it, and then he probably got 5 more pieces from like them walking around, and then went up and got like 3 more pieces, and then they started walking around again. He's like, oh, I feel sick. So much pizza, but it was so delicious. And I didn't have to get up. They even brought dessert. I don't want to say dessert pizza because it wasn't pizza, but you know, like their dessert tray around when it came out. And they're like, would anybody like any? You could just tell them how many pieces you wanted. And they were like, okay. And they put it on your plate. I don't know if you guys have a Larry's Pizza near you, but that's where we went. It was a Larry's Pizza. Oop, I forgot to push it back in. I put this roof, I guess. A wild sawbuck appeared. Is it not going to tell me like a good Pokeball? Okay, so then we'll do Pokey, Catch, Great Ball. Now let's see if I can get it to come up.
This whole game is rigged.
Rigged. I gotta remember to trade my Pokemon, because otherwise I get like 5 of like one kind. Beartic. Fantastic. Perfect. I guess this one's the one I traded. And I got a Garbodor. Gordon Ramsay posted, I mean, are those ice cubes frozen or fresh? For frozen, chef. Oh, Jesus Christ. I saw a video. Yeah, I got what you meant, though. I saw a video. It was Gordon Ramsay and his son talking about, like, how to make scrambled eggs or something like that. And his son is like, nah, Dad, I just put them in the frying pan. He's like, it's a frying pan. It's not for frying, or it's not. It's for frying eggs, not scrambling them. And he's like, yeah, but I just want to, like, make them in 5 minutes and then eat them. I don't want to have, like, all the sauce and all the stuff. He's like, so for all these years, I've been making scrambled eggs, light and fluffy, with sour cream and milk, and he's like, yeah, I mean, they're good, Dad, but I just want to make the eggs in 5 minutes, stick them with a fork, and eat them. I don't want all that extra stuff. And he's like, oh, now you're sounding like Jamie Oliver. Oh, we got a 10 this time. 72. Yeah, 72 butts against 18. I think we should be good this time. These frogs are ugly. Woohoo! We won! Okay. Beer bear. Crazy. And Rabbit. Congratulations. Ooh, I got scrolls and the money. If it'll give me Book Slayer. Pretty sure I didn't finish any. Nope. And I can't purchase it. So, yeah. Gold chest this time. I want to meet the Tom that got an entire genre of foolery named after him. Listen, he must have done one hell of a job to do that. Just saying. He must have done one hell of a job.
Hi, I'm Danny Phantom.
Welcome in, Danny. How are you today? Oop, I think it changed again, Danny. It says, y'all ready for a Texas-sized dose of geekery? Danny Fandoms is the neighbor you wish you had, chatting up a storm about Star Wars, Marvel, and all things Disney. From building blockbusters with Lego to family-friendly movie nights, they've got your fandom fix. Last seen diving into Bad Batch and Dune discussions, but no save broadcast to binge yet. Stay tuned for more movie magic and galactic gossip. A Texas-sized geekery. How much longer are your kids in school? Because I know every state, whatever, even within each state, it's different. We have like 2 weeks left. Well, like a week and a half now, but you know what I mean. We're getting that crazy time where, you know, they're bored exactly 2.5 seconds after they're not in school anymore. So Fantasy scored a new high for her, like a new best score. She scored 238 on Bullseye while she was at Nationals last week. They didn't tell us what she scored for 3D, but they were sure to tell us that because of like it being a new high for her. Tiny castle, easier to put together than assembling all the modules. Listen, we're not going to talk about that because then I had to get it off my desk and to the tippy top up there, and that was not an easy feat. True, she showed a 173, which was low for her on 3D, but the girl next to her, like shooting the same target she was like poof, 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 and she was done. And so I think it threw her off because she's normally like, she takes a minute and she lets the other person shoot first and then she shoots. And so they get in a rhythm so they're not shooting at the same time. But that other girl didn't care. She was just like, boop, 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 boop. It didn't matter. So that, I think it threw her off. But either way, you know, she, it wasn't her best, but it probably wasn't her worst either, so. It says, Hogwarts is a huge castle where it can be tricky to find your way. But did you know that the castle has 142 staircases? With the staircases constantly changing, it doesn't make it easier to find your way around. Yeah, I'm sure they are bored at school too. You know. Or at least doing things they don't necessarily want to do, but they have to do. Yeah. Well, it was overcoming all the stuff it had put in Carrot Stream. It was like every other time it was going after Steel. Like she was barely like finished typing and it was like, yep. Okay, it had me turn it, but it still wants... No, I'll have to turn it back because you guys won't be able to see. I think this is the greenhouse here. It had me rotate it, but now you guys won't be able to see, so I will rotate it back. It's all these clear blocks, which you probably can't see. So a max score on one run is 300 points. Because they shoot 5 arrows, and they can get 50 points per thing. What is that? Why are there holes? Now I've got to turn it again just to make sure I did it right. Yep, I did. But I don't remember there being holes there. But maybe there are. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the greenhouse. So you can get, like I said, 300 is like a perfect score. So she usually shoots at about 200. So the 238 was the best she'd ever shot on 3D. I mean on Bullseye. For the kids to go to Worlds, they need 280, which is, you know, pretty close to shooting perfect. And 2 kids from her team went to Worlds. They have to score 281 or above. My map's trying to go with it. Twist, you silly Knigget. Okay, that's impressive. I remember one teacher got super mad when the class was noticeably dozing, and pretty sure someone yawned. Yeah, teachers get really irritated at. And then she went around asking people what time we went to bed. She was saying, "You're all young, you should be full of energy." No one said anything, so we all wanted to tell her that there's a difference between us being tired and you being boring. And just because you're young doesn't mean you aren't tired. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it depends. What are you doing? You know, if you were up half the night studying, you know, depending on what grade you were in and things like that, then it doesn't really matter. You could still be tired. Or, you know, you can't sleep. Insomnia. Nope, not that color. Slightly darker. So this one. There. Yeah. Yeah, teachers don't like it when you fall asleep in their class. I fell asleep in science class. My freshman science class, I slept like almost every day. And the teacher was really irritated that I was still getting an A despite sleeping in his class. My answer, he did not like any better as to why I was still getting a good grade when I was sleeping in his class, was because we had workbooks, and all he did was literally photocopy pages of the workbook, and that was our test. So if you did your homework in the workbook, you would have done that page, and all you had to do was remember the answers. He didn't like that. That apparently was not an acceptable answer. I had a teacher ask me a snap question once when she thought I wasn't paying attention. She regretted it instantly when I showed her she was teaching the subject incorrectly. Yeah, like he didn't like at all that I was sleeping in class and still getting an A. And he tried to, like, I was called into the office with like the guidance counselor, because it really wasn't like a principal kind of, you know what I mean, like talk. But the guidance counselor was like, "Well, why are you sleeping in his class?" And I was like, "Because he's boring. He's got a monotone voice that just puts me to sleep." And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "I want to..." She's like, "But you're passing." And I was like, "I am passing. I still get an A on every test, and I turn in my homework, and it is correct. So I have like an A out of an, you know, like the best A you could have." And she's like, "Okay, so..." He's like, "So I want to fail her." And she's like, "Well, you can't fail her because she's sleeping in your class. She's still getting a good grade." And he's like, "Well, I want to be able to do something. She can't just sleep in my class and get away with it." And she's like, "I guess you could dock her participation points. Like, she's not participating because she's asleep." And he's like, "I don't have participation points in my grade." Like, he didn't grade using participation points as part of your grade. And she's like, okay, then I don't know what you want me to do. And he's like, I want you to let me fail her because she's sleeping. And she's like, you can't fail her because she is doing the work and she has an A and she's right. Maybe you should make tests instead of just photocopying stuff. He didn't like that answer any better. If I was a teacher, I wouldn't care if kids slip. They're either gonna miss the information or they're gonna get it from the class. Right? Like, I don't understand why it mattered so much that I was sleeping, but it really mattered to him. I figure I was still getting an A. Why does it matter how I'm getting it? Like, I obviously wasn't cheating. I'm gonna go with that's as close as I can get. So it's right there. It really was a him problem. But he couldn't do anything about it. And that really irritated him more than anything, I think, that he couldn't do anything about it. She's like, don't photocopy the tests out of their workbook. Like, make an actual test. Or add participation points into your grading. But if you're not going to do one of those two things, you can't just fail her because you want to. These were not the answers he was looking for. It didn't help either that the workbooks were like the easiest workbooks you could do. Like, it was your standard freshman earth science class. And so it was really easy to begin with, for me at least. And so, right, like, he didn't want to change it so that he could do something about it. He just wanted to fail me because I was getting an A when I shouldn't have, when he felt I shouldn't have been. I'm missing a clear brick. Did I use one when I should have? Well, no, I don't have any white ones either, so that's not it. Make sure it didn't wind up in a corner somewhere or underneath something. Nope. I should have two, but I don't have two. What drawer do I have these in? Yeah, he didn't want to change the way he did the class because for him it was set up like extremely easy. He had very little to actually do. And I'm not joking when I say he literally photocopied the workbook. You could see in the pages like the page number at the bottom and everything, and like the crease. Found them, but I don't think I have it here. Ooh, I do. That one looks a little yellowed though. That one's clearer. But yeah, he didn't want to change anything about it, about how he had to work, because then he would have to do more work. Yeah, that's all it was. He didn't want to change because it was set up so that he could do everything immensely easy and not have to really put in any work. But then got mad because by the same standard, I didn't have to really do any work. Welcome in, Demon Fair. Yeah. I just kind of laughed. I went home and I told my mom, I was like, my science teacher tried to fail me today. And she's like, why? And I was like, because I'm sleeping in his class. And she's like, why are you sleeping in his class? I'm like, because his voice is so sleepy. I was like, it's the way he talks, it makes me tired. And I don't really have to pay attention because he just copies the workbook. And she's like, so what happened? I was like, I was calling the guidance counselor's office and he asked her if he could fail me and she said no. I was like, so be prepared. Well, I am at home, so that doesn't help you. But yes, I feel the no worky. Work is about to pick up. My work is the children, and they're about to be home all the time, so my work is about to pick up. In fact, I'm gonna have to change my Thursday streams to starting an hour earlier for the next 2 weeks because she was having archery practice after school on Wednesday and Thursday, and obviously with archery being done, she's not going to have that anymore. She'll have it tomorrow just for like final talks and things, but after, Wednesday doesn't matter because I don't stream, but so Demon goes in 3 hours, and you still have 3 hours. Lots of work. Yep. In 2 weeks, my work will pick up, and then I'll be on all the time. Well, that's a lie. But, they're pretty self-sufficient, for the most part. But, I do try to do things with them, so we're not just sitting at home, because a whole summer of doing nothing is no fun. But we have a camping trip planned, and sometime next month, one of Crazy's friends is retiring, so we're going to try to go to his retirement ceremony. And we might try to go see a friend, like meet up with them in Pigeon Forge. Okay, I'm doing this kind of backwards, so I may or may not get it at the right spot. I think that's right. In fact, gotta go back to it, lurking and working. Okay, Kevin, thank you for the lurky lurk. But yeah, I mean, I try to do things with them. We go, do things at the library and, go different places during the day. I hear stories like this, and then people are be like, teachers are so important, round of applause. Listen, I firmly believe teachers are important, but you've got it. It's like every job. You're always going to have people who are going to take the easy way out. Any job, there's always going to be those people who are like, if they can do the least amount of work and get paid, they're going to do the least amount of work. Ooh, I see what I did wrong on the other side. I mean, that's just life. There's always going to be people who take the easy way out. Okay, fine, come off. I mean, I've been around all different kinds of jobs, and that's standard. There's always going to be some people who, if they can get away with doing the least amount of work and still get paid, they're going to do the least amount of work and still get paid, no matter the importance of the job or not. I mean, God knows, there's all kinds of people in the military with important jobs who just do the bare minimum. Right. I mean, it's true. Not all teachers, just like not all anything, deserve the same equal praise. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put one of these with the... Oh, I dropped it. You right there. And you there. And then you there. of course, that's one of the ones. They don't give you extra. Okay, I will have to go around my desk and pick it up. Oh, at least it fell all the way out from underneath the desk and I didn't have to try to climb under. But yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. And then this one goes here. And these are supposed to be trees in this set, even though they're like crystal elements. Brick tacks. Added the little leggy. But yeah, I totally get it. There are some teachers who go above and beyond, and I do think that as little as schools are willing to provide, that teachers should get more of a tax break when they have to buy things themselves for their classroom. Like if you can prove you bought it for your classroom, you should be able to claim it on your taxes. Says the greenhouses are where Professor Sprout, head of the Hogwarts Herbology Department, guides students safely through the care and use of magical plants. Now, if only everyone would use their earmuffs. So we have this corner of greenhouses. Yeah, that sounds about right. But then on the other hand, we've seen how many where teachers are like, you know, one kid's messing around on a Nintendo Switch in the middle of the class, and so they take it, and then they're followed out into the hallway by the student and beaten the crap out of. Like, there's just as many on both sides of that equation. The very last bag. Yeah. There's so many, like... What do we got? A scrope. Lots of little pieces in this bag, in this last bag. But, as it is the last bag, I'd expect that. It's got all the finishing touch pieces. Let's see. Take it up just a smidgen. Ooh, we're making the Whomping Willow. A mini Whomping Willow. I have 2 Whomping Willows, I think. There's one. I thought I had 2, but maybe I don't. Nope, I do have 2. I have 2 Whomping Willows. They're part of 2 different sets. Oh, the Yellow Witch! Thank you! Welcome in, Yellow Witch. How was your stream? Welcome in, Alex. Oh, I didn't think that clipped in. I didn't feel it. There we go. What were you working on today? I don't think it told me. Riding in from the land of Lego, the Yellow Witch casts a cozy spell over their stream with a mix of brick building charm and diamond painting magic. Celebrating the quest to 800 followers, they've been Easter Bunny crafting, princess defying with witchy vibes, and Hufflepuffing it through chill diamond art sessions. Whether it's late night sparkle or early morning construction, this Backstreet Boys fan is all about no hate, all love, all the hug. Is that supposed to say huggy? I'm not sure what it's trying to do. Welcome in the Yellow Witch and all your my brain won't work. Peoples. Thank you for bringing them. We are finishing up on the last bag of the Hogwarts Castle and Grounds. Currently making a mini Whomping Willow. Oh, that's cute. I haven't seen that one. Oh, I had it right the first time. Look, it's a mini. A mini Weasley car to go on our mini Whomping Willow. You know, if I can get it on right. There we go. Okay. Rotate, 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 rotate. It's supposed to go back here. Rotate. You can see it better there. It says the Whomping Willow was planted to give Professor Lupin a safe escape during his full moon werewolf episodes. It hides a secret tunnel leading to the Shrieking Shack where Lupin would stay until he transformed back into his human form. Yeah, it's a Ford Angela. Stream right on. There are 79 of us and 21 of them. Just need one more part, then it's done. It's a 40 by 50 diamond art painting, so it's been taking some time. Split into 10 pieces, and each piece takes about 4 hours to do. Ooh, that's a big one. I don't know what size the one I've been working on is. Like, I've been working on, like, little coasters during stream as, like, a redeem. But I have a bigger one I'm working on, but I don't remember what size it is. Technically, in the project, there came two panels, and you just cut them. Yeah. You just like cut it down the middle so you can frame them individually. But I'll do a Maze Spidey this time. Barbarian scrolls and meat. I don't think I can do quests. Nope. And I don't think I can buy anything because nope. We'll do this mystery one. The mystery ones are always good. But yeah, the big one I've been working on is, like I said, it's like you cut the panels down the middle so that way you can have 2 panels. And then, but I don't remember what size it was. Okay, thank you for the lurk, and thank you for the raid. Bringing your people here. You could have taken them anywhere. Thank you so much. What's for dinner? Ooh, now we're gonna make the boat, the Russian boat. When they like the Triwizard Cup when we had the other schools came. Put that one in the right place. But King, it's what's for dinner. I think I'll barbecue some sausages and have some potato salad. We're gonna have KFC bowls because I was gonna do them yesterday, but because I had originally forgot about Fantasy's thing. Oh, another. Wow. Okay, I want to say it right. Thank you for the raid so much. Is it Me Star? I'm probably butchering it. But thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. We are doing Stream Raiders while finishing up this Hogwarts Castle and Grounds set. It's letting me chat normally now. It wouldn't let me earlier. Well, that's good. Like, I don't know what it is. The Twitch app has been, like, extra twitchy. Thank you for the follow, King Jerry. Thank you. Sorry, my brain is working at, like, half speed right now. That's what I think for Lego scale, this is micro. Welcome in, Yeti! How are you doing today? Send one message that it would crash if I tried to type it in. That is so weird, Alex. Like I said, I don't know what it, like, we tried to watch it, like, watch our friend who isn't on that often the other day, and it, like, would play like 5 or 10 seconds and then it would freeze, and then you'd go to like hit pause and unpause and it would play for like 10 seconds and then it would like nothing. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm sure I'm gonna say your name wrong. Is it like Me Star? Thank you again for the love back. We are doing Stream Raiders. It's in here somewhere. For some reason my like battle command doesn't want to work, so I've been trying to remember to pin it to the top, that way, you know, people can see it. Welcome everybody. I guess I should introduce myself. My Star. Okay. Well, welcome in, My Star, and all your people, and thank you so much for bringing them to me. You could have gone anywhere. I build Lego, and I do book talk, obviously. I do Diamond Dots, and on Sundays I play video games, and we are just finishing up. This is the 5th and final stream of building this set, and the part we're at right now is making the little ship from when, like, the the other schools came during the Triwizard Cup. You had the flying carriage, and then you had the ship. We're building the ship part. But welcome everybody. Thank you for follows. Ye Cats, thank you for the follow. Let me see. I'll probably tell better from this one. Been lurking on 3 streams while working and stream rated. Hey, I do the same thing. I go like in different ones. The Vinyl Viper, thank you for the follow. But I do the same thing. I'll have different ones up and I'll be lurking and listening and stream rating. If they do stream raters. Where are you, peace? There you are. But I do a little bit of everything. It's just mostly a form of maybe controlled chaos in here. I mostly do Lego, though. I started the page as doing Lego. And you can kind of see a bunch behind my chair. I can get this to click on. Okay, maybe I picked up the wrong square. Thank you, Immortal Frog, for the follow. There is one with just one. I never know what to say to like new people. I'm still not very good at this streaming thing. And I turned my camera so you could see down there, and then forgot to turn it back up. Okay. I need this piece, and there's a single square somewhere. Ah, there it is. Thank you. So the ones that came out, what is it, in March? I don't have any of those, I don't think. But almost all the ones before that. A couple streams ago, they got to witness the chaos that was combining like 7 different Harry Potter sets into one piece. But I have a lot of them. I can move my camera around in a bit to show you. I'm gonna sneak off and leave a lurk. My kiddo has an event tonight and I gotta go get stuff ready. Thank you again for the warm welcome. I hope you have an amazing stream. Chat, place units. Thank you, my star. I totally understand. Raid, run, do whatever you gotta do. Real life always comes first. But thank you again for bringing your people. Thank you so much. I'm trying to decide what. That's awesome. Sounds like a big day for you. Yeah, so I tried to originally do it because it was in like the back of the instruction booklet, but it wasn't like instructions on how to do it. It was just like a big picture, and you had to kind of just place it based on the picture. And so I was gonna just try my best to make it work, just like enlarging the picture and stuff on the computer. And then I think it was Danny Phantom, I think, was like, nope, just go use this video. So it was a lot of stop, start, half speed the video, like back and forth. But we got it finished. It was a very chaotic day. Yes, do all the stuff you need to do. I am never offended if you have to raid and run. I know that sometimes the stream gets away from you. It's done it to me, and then you're like, oh crap, I gotta go. I totally understand. But yeah, it was quite the chaotic day of trying to get it together. And then even more fun as my husband had to help me move it off my desk to the top shelf, um, to display it of my shelving back here. After I get this boat built, I can move my camera around and show you guys some of the stuff behind me. Yes, it was. And like at the very end of the video on YouTube, the guy's like, "Oh, by the way, it's kind of fragile." I was like, "Thanks. Thanks. I hadn't noticed." I was like, "Oh, this is going to be bad." So, we have like an IKEA uh like coffee table, and it's got a shelf kind of underneath, so that isn't really like connected. So we use that to like push it off my desk onto that, and we use that to then move it up and off, like transport it up to the top shelf, and then slide it off that onto the shelving on top. Oh, okay, here I am thinking I gotta like push it in the top hole. There's no top hole. So this is the ship, and it says the magical Durmstrang ship was used to travel between the Durmstrang Institute and Hogwarts for the Tri-Wizard Tournament. But have you ever wondered how the ship got from the North Sea into the Black Lake? Yeah, oh, by the way. Yeah, it was a pretty big like board, cuz like I said, it's meant to be like a shelf for underneath the coffee table, that way you could set stuff kind of on the bottom, but it doesn't exactly attach. It's just like 4 little L brackets that you set it on. And we don't have it underneath there anymore because our robot vacuum will run into the legs of the coffee table, and then every time it hits it even lightly, it slowly shifts and then it falls down. So we don't actually put anything on it. It's just gotten kind of moved to the side. So I was like, well, sure, that'll work. It'll get some use. So now we're building like the sail mast part. This right at the tippy top, and then these kind of right underneath. So but yeah, that one was definitely interesting, and I was like, okay, if I ever decide to do something like that again, I am building it wherever it is staying. I'm not moving it. And if we if we move again, which we probably will, it's going to be very interesting to move it. Oh, come on, straighten out. That went on the back of the boat. And come on. Another one of these. Yeah, I knew that was a bad idea. But I did it anyway. Get out of the way. hard pass on moving it. Well, I'm not leaving it for the new owners. Okay, let's turn this. And this is going to sit right there. And it clips in, so it doesn't really move. Says, the Durmstrang ship arrived in the lake through a magical shortcut created between the lake and other bodies of water. Truly magical. And then it wants this over here for the flying carriage. Oh, we're in ads. So this, if I can get it to go on there. This. My guess is this is going to be like the carriage base. And I was right. Sit down there. This. Ooh. I have one of these carriages as well. A bigger version back there. A candelabra. White leaves. We are back from ads. We're building the flying carriage. And I have a larger of the flying carriage as well behind me. And I think these are supposed to be like the horses. Strikes again, yeah. your butt port during these ads breaks keeps the stream alive. So then we take this and we stick it on this pole here. And we have a flying carriage. I think it's supposed to be turned a little bit like that. Says, the Pegasus of the Beauxbatons carriage is built with white Lego horn and leaf elements. Notice the reins? They're actually a magically transformed candle holder. Now we gotta build a golden minifigure guy. There's our face. One of you. Where are you, beard? I keep seeing it. There you are. And a plate, a body, and a bottom. So we got this. Sorry. It's usually up higher, but I tried to move it down low so that you guys could see more of the castle, and then I keep forgetting that I've moved it down, and where I normally hold my hands isn't going to work. I guess it's kind of the same both directions. Hey, Radiant Moon! How are you doing today? We are. It says the architect of Hogwarts Castle minifigure was created exclusively for this set, with a new beard element and a Hogwarts model and blueprint scroll in his hand. I am good. How are you? So it didn't show where to put it, but it's pretty cool. So you can only get this minifigure in this set, or if somebody's selling it, essentially. I guess maybe you could buy the individual parts, but you know how that goes. That's kind of cool. It was created just for this set. Now it has us tired. I feel that. That's kind of how I felt. I finally felt not tired today. But basically from last Wednesday we drove like 8 hours to that competition. Then we were like go all day Thursday at the competition, and then Friday it was drive home, and Saturday we had people over for Crazy's birthday, and then it was just like go. Finally, like today I feel caught up. Buzz Lightyear? Yeah, it says no intelligent life found anywhere. I got it at Target a couple years ago. My popcorn maker is the little alien drop. Like, I have a popcorn maker in my kitchen, and it's the alien drop claw thing is the design of the popcorn maker. I bought it from Sam's Club. It was that design or like a Mickey Mouse design. Yeah, the claw. So it has like the little aliens on the door of the. Oh, this is cool. So he holds. Let me rearrange his arm. Of course, it's gonna. There we go. Lift your arm, minifigure. He holds. This thing, it says the architect of Hogwarts Castle was active in the years around the turn of the 10th century. Not much is known about his life or other works. But he goes right here next to the. Yes, I love the little alien guys. So the Hogwarts architect goes right here in front. And that's it. We're done. This set had 2 books, and it was 2,660 pieces. It was 22 bags. But now that I am finished with that, some of you who came in with the raid and are new, I can kind of try to show you behind me. I have Diagon Alley and Gringotts. Sorry, I'm not very good with the camera turny. There's the rest of Diagon Alley, and then I have the 3 flying ones. You can turn the lever and their wings will move up and down. And then I have this little like 3-in-1 house, and I change it with the seasons. Okay, Radiant Moon, I'll be sure to check you out. Have a great stream. I have this little 3-in-1 house with those little packs you get. You know, they're like the springtime pack, the pirate set, the whatever set. I bought that house and made it, and then I just change out the pieces with the different seasons. So I have like a Halloween one, a springtime one, a Lunar New Year one, just different ones. I switch it out. Then I have the Ministry of Magic and the Hiding one, and then next to it is I have, you can't really see it, but I have the flying thing, the Pegasus cart, and I have a Patronus and some things. I have lots of things. Ooh. And then more Harry Potter. All the Harry Potter, essentially. Lots and lots of Harry Potter. Welcome in, Fluffy's Brick Studio. How are you? I'm attempting to not give everybody motion sickness, but show you. I have. And then over on the far side, I have not necessarily Harry Potter things, but I will figure out this camera business eventually. I have the Sorting Hat up top, but then I have the 3-in-1 pirate ship and the Pirate Inn. I bought two of the same 3-in-1 sets so I could make each of them. And then, yes, I know those are empty because I have a bunch waiting to be built. So that's what the empty spots are for. But then I have the lighthouse and the haunted house. I have the tree house. That sailboat was just like a little gift with purchase sailboat. And the camping thing next to it is a fun hole set. It lights up. But then I also have the A-frame cabin. I have the Sanderson sister house, the up house. Behind the up house, I have the T-Rex mouth skull. Then I have the tiny pot set and the insect set and the 3-in-1 bird house, and then the Home Alone house. And then down below those, I have modulars and some more Harry Potter stuff. And then on the very bottom, I have the British phone box and the medieval blacksmith set. And on the bottom behind me, I have a whole bunch of the cars. So I have like both Shaggin' Wagons, both VW buses. I have the VW Bug. I have the farm truck, the Porsche 911. I have a double-decker British bus. I have the Fiat. I have the Vespa. And I have the Range Rover. But yeah, I have, and then like from just about here over is empty pretty much because I needed empty shelves. I can't keep buying Legos and having nowhere to put them. So, you know, we had to buy shelving for the expectation that things would eventually get put on them. Yeah, I have currently waiting to be built. I have the Tranquil Garden, the Wave, I turned it up too much. The Wave picture, and then I have 2 more fun hole sets. One's a cabin and one's a medieval apothecary type thing. And then I have some brick heads and some flowers to do too. And for Mother's Day tomorrow, I'm going to order the what is it? The new Galaxy one. So I'll have that in a week or so. And I heard Stream Raiders. There are 74 of us. And 146 of them. Yeah, the Milky Way set. I keep calling it the Galaxy set, but the Milky Way set. And they've already released more, like, coming soon Harry Potter sets. So I'm gonna need to hurry up and get the ones that came out. I've been trying not to buy, like, just because it came out. So, like, I've been trying to buy older sets that I wanted before they, like, retire or become hard to find or whatever. Yeah, I just keep calling it the Galaxy set. Waha, Amaze Spotty. And then Crazy was the second, so... Oh, yeah. Gotta pick different... Back to map. Did we want to go up or down? It's not like a gold loyalty chest. It's just a regular gold chest. But did we want to try a 5-star? Oh, I didn't do your brick tax. Crazy. I guess let's try the down. What's the worst that could happen? It doesn't work. Thanks, Spidey. I need one last one of him, so I will just use the meat. No problem. You had the most kills and the most assists. How could I not? Let's collect money. Oh, I get to collect that too. Now what says? Oh, 50 event. Okay, so now I gotta get myself lined up again. Okay, so we did that last time. This is this time. And move. That is the brick tax. So we have a half an hour. We can either do some diamond art, or I can play some more strange horticulture. I never know what I want to do. Let's see. Turn the music off. Not that it really matters. Strange horticulture. Well, I guess it does have its own kind of sound. Okay, go to gaming. Game capture. I guess I could have left it and just played Stardew Valley, but I have two different. So for right now, I have these coasters that I have as redeems. Like you can redeem it, and then I do like 15 minutes. So I would have either worked on this, or I have a bigger one that's like a sea life. It's got like clownfish and kelp and stuff on it. I would have worked on either one of those. But I generally do, like, I only started doing these coasters once I started streaming, because they were easier for like to do for like short amount of time. These one and the ones I had before, I had some Jack Skellington ones and some Pokemon ones. And if you were the first person to redeem like a new coaster, like I was finished with one, I was starting a new one, I would send you the coaster. But I changed it for these because these I asked for Christmas, and there's like 5 or 6 more, whatever, but they form together. Like when you put them next to each other, they form like part of the Starry Night painting, part of Van Gogh's painting. So I got those for Christmas, so I wasn't going to send them to people. But I use a coaster, like I use this coaster I made. Oh, duh, I'm trying to show it to you on this camera, and I'm not even on that camera. But I use, this is a diamond dot coaster, and I use it like every day when I stream. That's what my cup sits on. So they stand up. I mean, I've had cups that have had a lot of condensation and other stuff, and it holds up. And this one's the one. This one is a wooden one, but these ones that form the Starry Night, they're actually like a hard plastic. So they'd probably do even better with like condensation and stuff. And I got them off Amazon. They weren't very much at all. They weren't like crazy expensive or anything like that. Let's try this. So I'm assuming because that thing is still on my thing, I haven't found it yet. I do the big ones too, but I like that during a stream, I have a redeem that's like I do 15 minutes of Diamond Dot. And so about four redeems, about an hour. Depending on how much stopping I'm doing as I'm talking or whatever, is about one coaster. And it's just like I never know what to do for like points. I think this is this, but it's not. I don't know. I think this is this. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, did I use my little thingy on it? No. Well, even if I did. But yeah, a lot of times you can find them pretty cheap. If you go to like, I don't know if you have Prime or not, but if you go to like my daily deals or whatever, and then I always check mark just the craft button, like the arts and crafts, sewing, whatever, and it'll bring up a whole bunch. And then once really, even you don't have to do that much. Just go into the daily deals, and then your search bar will only search the sales. And then you can type in like Diamond Art Coaster, and it'll show you ones. So you can try that. Where do you match up? Yeah, I think I only paid like $8 for the 6 Nightmare Before Christmas ones, but it might have been part of like a Black Friday type deal. I'm not positive. Ooh, no, over here. So I bet it's that. I bet right there. Ha! It seems Beth has been able to keep her fellow sisters away from this part of the forest, for now at least. The trees are thick here, old too. The altar seems to belong here as much as a part of the forest as the gnarled trunks and twisting roots. I must place an offering to the goddess Arduna. Okay, let's put our map away. And our clue away. And let's see if it'll tell me Ember Soul. The petals of this flower can be brewed to create an antidote to Dendrus miasma, a deadly poison. Maybe that, or what's the other one? Poultry. The use of poultry are not well known. Some say it has applications in dark magic, but the author has found neither substance nor specifics to back up those claims. Let's look for the Ember Soul one. It's thought to have protection.
We have always lurked among you.
Thank you for the lurk, Amaze Spidey. Hopefully work isn't too stressful. It's an easy day.
Squirrels in my bed!
Squirrels! Emersoul is thought to have protected properties. It is sometimes given as an offering to various deities in return for sanctuary. Produces flowers with many petals. Watch out for the leaves, they're razor sharp. Okay, so now we have to find the right flower. And it is one that is not tagged, so make sure all our non-tagged ones are over here. Maybe this one. I'm gonna go with this one. Use and I was right. I got a new page. And we'll move this one over since it's now a tagged one. No, not that one. This one. Let's see. What's this one? In Tibet, a noble elder stood silently watching the starry night sky. Listen, I wish I knew what you wanted with that. I'm being harassed by loonies, shouting about the redemption, saying they're going to set it free, whatever the hell that means. Well, they can take their seeds of whatever, woken something or other nonsense, and stick it where the sun don't shine. I'm not joining their damn cult. I just want to tend my garden in peace. I'm looking for some lark shine to drive them away if they come around again. She is fed up with them. It says Larkshine is a plant with a powerful defense mechanism. It releases stinging barbs triggered by a light touch. The pain is said to be unbearable and can last for several days. Sometimes confusingly called kidney flower, this is thought to be a reference to the kidney-shaped seeds held within the spiny pods that grow on this plant. Okay. maybe we don't have it? Because it's supposed to kind of look like that. Well, words are hard. The sign at a drive-through menu says, "We can't not sell hamburger on this moment. It's fix the girl. I am sorry to close." Wow, that was even hard to read. Yeah, that was You wouldn't think, following the modern railway line into Tibet, that this prosperous village was once home to a notorious prophetess, Mary Bynes, a local witch, haunted the locals with her tales about the end of the world. Although such prognostications may seem quaint nowadays, her grave in the churchyard is still avoided by all those in the village, and nothing grows there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't think I have Larkshire. I kind of really want to look up the clue for the this Tebby thing, because I've clicked the map like a whole bunch of different times and I have been unable. Okay. Says the daily card tells of the story of a noble elder in Tibet who liked to watch the starry skies. At first glance, it doesn't look like the card gives you a lot of information. However, upon closer inspection, you will see that there is a reason why each word is in a different line. In Tibet, noble, elder, da 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 da. When you see it like this, you will notice each capitalized letter. Oh. North, east, south, south, west, south, south. Okay. So you start in Tabe, and you go north, east, south, south, west, south, south. I find myself on a path of the moorland surrounded by jagged peaks and menacing clouds. A distinctive plant stands out against the swaths of purple heather, and there another. Yeah, I would say it depends on if you're clenching your butt or not. Muscles tense, muscles relaxed. I hear you, Kitty Kitterson. However, I don't think that gave me the flower I need either. Brick tags. Just gotten Joe back to bed. I'm considering hiring a hit on someone. Prison sounds like peace and quiet. Listen, there's a joke that I see quite fairly often. It's like a video, and it'll be like, it's a mom and her kid, and she's like, listen, if I hit you, child service is gonna come, and I'm gonna get 30 days in jail. But that's 30 days of not taking care of you. They're starting to look like, not cooking, not cleaning, not anything. Those 30 days are starting to sound like a vacation that I want to take. You want up? Yes. Oh, Uppy's good girl. Uppies. Kitty time. You just want up here so you can get after everything. Yeah, like 30 days is starting to sound. No, you stole it once before. I'm not gonna let you do it again. So we attached our pieces. You want to get up here and cause trouble. That's what you want to do. Huh? You just want to get up here and cause trouble? Yeah, don't leave it unattended. She'll steal it. Little thief. She's got everything. Stepping all over the keyboard. Look. Be a good kitty. Just lay here and go to sleep. Why you being a crazy kitty? Look, you want to see the peoples? You want to see yourself? Look, what do you want? You want it up here. Just to be a menace. What are you after? You're a menace today. You gonna come here? You gonna show the peoples? You gonna be on camera? Yeah, well. She's a menace most days, but yesterday she kept climbing up on the desk I used to use in there, and then like up over where we have the printer, and then down onto Boy Wonder's desk while I was trying to help him with math. So I took, because it's in there from when I was doing, streaming at Christmas time, the Christmas hat. And I just scooped her up in it, and I was like, now you're in timeout in the hat of punishment. How do we know? Yeah, because the cat would have pushed something off the edge by now. It would have pushed everything off by the edge by now. You gonna be a spicy kitty? You're the one who wanted up here. Why are you getting spicy with me? Don't rip my shirt. Yeah, she's a menace most days. We did give her a little bit of catnip the other day, and then she slept for like 3 hours. She only inhaled like 2 pieces, and then she was like, and all drunk walk. Didn't know what to do with herself. Yeah, they would have pushed each other off the edge of the earth by now if the earth was flat. Okay, I found 2 new plants, but I'm pretty sure they weren't plants that I actually needed. Oh, now you went down? Or you want in the chair? Are you mad because I'm in your chair? She likes to sleep in this chair on this blanket when I'm not in the chair, so I bet that's what she's mad about. That she wanted to come sleep in the chair, and how dare I be in it? How dare! Well, she like ate it. Like she leaned over and like licked it with her tongue, and then was like, "No, no, no, no. These are not for you." I say inhale because she like leaned over and smelled, and then like just barely licked with her tongue. Look, why can't you just be a good kitty? Yeah, not like straight inhale. Like she leaned over and smelled, and then like just barely stuck her tongue out, and then she was like, "Oh," like not even 10 minutes later, high as a kite. Let's try to find somewhere else on the map. Hey, Venom, stop trying to knock things off my desk. Listen. If all you want to do is be annoying, you can go over there. No. No. The night staff is not for you to eat. Yeah, she had like the drunk walk and everything. Okay. I don't want her to have like a ton of catnip, so we don't put, it's not just out all the time, but I originally bought it because we bought her scratch pads, and I figured maybe if I put a little bit on the scratch pad, she would like only scratch there. But that has not really worked. Thank God we don't have like a brand new couch or anything. Foot can't. Did I use this thing on the whole map? Oh, no, we did that already. Tomb of the Hunter. At least I'm pretty sure we did. You know, I don't remember if we did. Oh, I didn't. The memorial bears the name Swaif Pryor. It stirs a memory. He was one of the Dreyer. Theirs is a lonely life at the mercy of the dangerous addiction. They built a tolerance to the Dranthurium sap in childhood that they might benefit from its potent effects, but they will die if they stop taking it. An unusual plant grows precisely around the memorial. Yeah, catnip spray. I said, well, now we know it makes her sleepy, so if we have to take her somewhere, like when we go camping and she might not enjoy the car ride, we can just give her a little catnip before and but who knows? You know, what that will really do. Okay. I need to look back through my letters. I'm sure I remember seeing something that could lead me to a new map location and perhaps a new plant too. Listen, I wish. I don't know if the cat turned off the sound or what, because my sound is back on. She has a habit of like sitting on my desk or like sitting on the keyboard and then stuff gets messed up. Yep, she turned my sound off. Much better. I was like, why am I not hearing anything? We use that on these to get those to figure out something. And none of those symbols match like these symbols. Not that. But I heard stream rados. 75 of us and 101 of them. So supposedly there's like a tea you can make from catnip too. You steep it just like you would tea for humans, but it's tea for cat. And you let the water cool down and then you give it to them. I don't know if that's something we'll try, but I figured if I sprinkled the catnip on like the scratch pad, then she'd like scratch at it to get it up. But maybe I need to try to like mush it into the scratch pad too, instead of just sprinkling it on top. And then a gold stamp musketeer skin. Like, I don't know. It was a thought. Whether it was a valid one, I don't know. But it was a thought. That was our last one of that. I really want to finish this day, but okay, so map B12. I cheated. I don't care. ABC. The candle leads me east of wastewater to the north of the mighty Scafell Pike. Grazes the sky, the tallest peak in England. The challenge beckons me, perhaps another time. Apparently, I should have gotten that from a letter. Yeah, apparently from this I should have gotten that. I don't know how, but that's end the day. Don't chew my cord. Oh, it's got holes in it. 902x803. In time, she learned that the sisterhood had secrets, or had she always known that? Had she come to them by chance, or had she sought them out deliberately? She wasn't sure, but by now she knew what she wanted, and she would do anything to get it. Let's see. Nothing serious on it. My guess is that it should have like something in both of these dots, like the 902 and the 803. Ah. Oh, yep, 902 feet, 803 feet. And then I believe this. The impressive ridgeline of the Crinkle Crag stretches across the full width of my vision. Days like today are worth being alive for. A colorful plant that stands out against the moss. My old man reckons there's a plant what can find pots of gold buried underground. Don't know what it's called, but I bet you do. Tell you what, when I'm rich, I'll throw a share of gold your way. So you want something, but you don't want to pay for it. Just say that. A plant that is believed by many to lead to gold. You'll have about as much luck searching for the end of the rainbow. The soft frilled leaves can soothe insect bites and stings. It is also known as the golden light, or sometimes fool's hope. Something with soft frilled leaves. What about you? No, it just talks about your aroma. have a task for you that would greatly aid the seeds of redemption. One of the Dreyar is in town, and we know he's paid you a visit already, no doubt feeding his habit. We suspect he's here to hunt Dendru. If he returns, give him some of this. He will make a worthy sacrifice to the Dendru that's helped him on his... Okay, that's rude. But I guess I'm taking the plant. I am heading out on the road again, but before I leave, I want to store some valuables in a safe. I don't trust myself to remember the combination, and I certainly don't trust myself to write it down anywhere and not lose it. This is where you come in. Surely you've got something up your sleeve for me. Oh, Balok's elixir. Made from the crushed petals of 3 distinctive plants, Balok's elixir is a potent aid to memory, allowing those who drink it to ensure that they retain important information that they will never forget. Care must be taken after drinking. Okay. Okay, we need Amos Duncan. Made from the crushed petals of 3. Okay, that's the same thing. Balok's is a light blue elixir in a bulbous bottle with a glass top, and the recipe is received on day 8 from Simone Green. The elixir is requested 11 to closer. Eyebright. So my OCD is like, just put them in alphabetical order. And maybe I will. Eyebright. I don't even have portals. Well, I don't have the page for portal. So the second one is that, and it is Oh, right there. Please help me. I lost my dog while out walking in the fells. The mist rolled in and he was gone. I remembered there was a plant you could use to help find people. I wonder if it works on dogs. It is unusual black and golden flowers. A flower that you might use to find people. Hypothermia. Old juice. Find dead, find peace. Afflictions of mind. Dark magic. Open rock. Eye strain. Appear younger. If this is ingested, it will cause a slow, agonizing death, and the plant will go out of your body. Once you're dead, of course. Mind altering. Deadly poison. Deities. Rejuvenate aching bones. Severe pain for days. Strength. Energy boost. Sleeping drought. Friendship stronger. Digestive troubles. Poison. Dental hygiene. Memory loss. Pain relief. Oh, Jacob's worth. It said they will point you the way towards any person you wish to locate and have been used successfully to find many a lost wanderer on the hill. So maybe this. Oh goodness, Halvor, you have been getting enough food. That's terrible. Whatever will become of you? My mother's had me looking into the servant creature for you, but I'm afraid I've not been getting anywhere. It's strange. I'm sure I've seen some reference to it before, but I'm drawing a blank when I try to find anything. I think Lord Fremont's archives would be a good place to look. I was going to post this to you, but I was in town anyway, so I thought I'd drop it off in person. That and sneak in some Hellboar hugs. I've not been getting anywhere looking through my collections at Ambleside for any mention of the servant, but Lord Fremont's archives at, I think it's at Manchester? Well, yeah, Muncaster, are home to many ancient and esoteric scrolls covering a wide variety of subjects. It might be worth a visit. Manchester. Make sure there's nothing else. I follow Fremont's manservant deep into the vaults of the castle. 2 hours later, I have still not found no mention of this servant. On the verge of giving up, a name grabs my attention. The Woken Dendru. Didn't Verona say that was another name for the servant? The Woken Dendru is loyal to the summoner, who becomes its master and can bend its terrible power to their will. The servant is assumed to be immortal since it has no known vulnerabilities, but that does not mean that it cannot be defeated. Many hundreds of years ago, a site of ritual importance was created near Black Combi, to the south of the Watcher, the Great Oak, and the Dendru was ousted from this world. Unfortunately, although we know that 5 plants were required for the ritual, the specific plants are not known. Norwood, please. I find it's the only thing that can keep me from nodding off on the night shift. A bite of this crunchy root of this plant has an effect of a cold bucket of water thrown over the face, an unpleasant sensation accompanied by sharp focus. It is claimed that Norwood releases spores that are invisible to the naked eye, showing up only under unnatural light.
Evie!
Hello, Steel! Crunchy root. How are you doing, Steel? Okay. Many hundreds of years ago, a site of ritual ports was created near Black Combi, to the south of the Watcher. The Great Oak and the Dendru was ousted. I'm glad you're good, but sorry, you're tired. A huge tree stands before me, impossibly tall and wide, bigger than I could have ever imagined any living thing might be. Its upper branches graze the sky. Okay, so apparently I was supposed to do more with that clue than I did. But I don't believe I have Norwood. Okay, well, it is time for me to get off, but I need to find somebody to raid into. So give me 1 second. I think, yeah, Radiant Moon said she was going to come on. So that's raid into her. Let's see if I can type correctly. I did it! I did it twice. It's a miracle. I have the hardest time, like, copying my message because it just wants to, like, highlight the word. Like, when you hover over the emote, it comes up and it just wants to highlight, like the emote word. Thank you for everybody who came and hung out today, and thank you for all the raids and then the new follows. I will be back Thursday to do something. I don't know. I think I might do a diamond dot just to kind of take a break from that big one, but then I also feel like I shouldn't because I had like breaks in between that. But I also have I have other stuff. Maybe I'll do the fun hole set. Have a great day, everyone.